Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
3 years. 3 years of The Give and Go today, folks. Give us W's in the chat. 3 years ago, we started this show in 2021, November 4th. And 3 years later, we're here celebrating 3 years of doing this podcast alongside all you guys, alongside all the viewers, alongside producer Rudd, Soltero, and Reynoso. Thank you guys for a wonderful, wonderful 3 years. We love you all. And let's celebrate, man. If you're at home right now, get yourself a little beer. Let's celebrate 3 years of The Give and Go.
I still remember that first video we did. It was a USA-Mexico one, and we were just like, let's have some fun here, just because, you know, USA-Mexico, one of the classic rivalries, talk about our entire lives, and now we are 3 years later, man. Yeah. Still talking about football, one of my favorite things to do, so let's just keep talking, bro.
Hey guys, producer Rudd here. Thank you for 3 years of The Give and Go. Here's so many more.
Okay, man, what better way to celebrate 3 years than with Liverpool topping the Premier League table after an amazing result against Brighton. 2-1 at Anfield has me so hyped, with some other very notable results as well. We will talk about them, but bro, let's talk about Liverpool to start, because we get an amazing comeback victory in a game where I feel like we finally felt that vintage, that classic Anfield pool that the stadium has, where they essentially guided this Liverpool team on their comeback emotionally, showcasing that passion from the stands, and then seeing it be represented on the pitch with a beautiful Mo Salah curler to give Liverpool the 2-1 lead and make him the official 8th highest goal scorer in Premier League history.
It's so funny. After that goal went in, the only thing I was thinking after is Mohamed Salah, one of the greatest Premier League players of all time. Seriously, the consistency that he does this at, and the fact that he's still doing it now, it feels like I'm watching Messi and Ronaldo in their later years when they were at Barcelona and Real Madrid. And so it's the same thing here. Salah just doing the same goddamn thing with Liverpool, man. These goals are absolutely ridiculous. And what a stretch for Liverpool in that 20-minute span in that second half where they absolutely smothered Brighton.
Smothered them, and you just knew those goals were coming. And the class showed itself, Mohamed Salah, and just what a beautiful moment, man. In 2 minutes, we flipped the result completely with Cody Gakpo getting that first goal through a dangerous cross that Darwin Núñez didn't connect with, but distracted the defenders enough and the goalkeeper enough to get the ball into the back of the net. Gakpo equalizes it, and then Mo Salah just does his magic on the wing, cutting inside, and then just an amazing finish, man, that just had me so hyped. And I agree, it's special, man. Every time that Mo Salah does this sort of magic, it's such a special feeling, because we've been seeing it nonstop consistently for the past 6, 7, 8 years, bro. From the moment that he arrived at Liverpool, he has not stopped giving us these moments, man. And I love what I'm seeing from him mentality-wise as well, because he went to Twitter and Instagram and posted a picture, you know, him celebrating the goal. But the caption I thought was very notable. I'm gonna read it to you if you haven't heard of it. He said, "Top of the table is where this club belongs, nothing less. All teams win matches, but there's only one champion in the end. That's what we want. Thank you for your support last night. No matter what happens, I will never forget what scoring at Anfield feels like." Crazy, man. That's a statement.
And not only is it a statement, but it's what I want to ask you and the viewers is Liverpool the best team in the Premier League? Obviously, table-wise, they are, but from a football perspective, from the results that we've seen specifically this last month, where they've truly been tested every single week, and also in the Champions League, they've passed every single test. Are they the best team in the Premier League? And I think with this result specifically, they've cemented it for me. I've had my doubts going into this month, starting at the very beginning of October, and I knew the quality was there, and I knew that the results were there prior to October, but I was just questioning their scheduling a little bit. But no, I was completely wrong, man, in the sense that this Liverpool team, it doesn't matter if you're playing a weaker team or a stronger team, they are better. And they've proved it by not dropping any points, just getting win after win after win. They've been tested. They've had some very tight matches, but they've always come out on top. And this game, in my opinion, was no different, because for the first half, I thought Brighton were the better team, and they were the better team as they had a 1-0 lead. What a goal from Karagioglu, by the way. What a goal.
My boy.
A beautiful goal, man. Yeah, obviously we were big fans of him based off his performances in the summer with Turkey. But then again, we already talked about it. The second half when Liverpool just turned it on, you could hear the crowd wanting more from Liverpool, and they definitely gave them. Trent Alexander-Arnold started to pick up his performance in the second half. Yeah. We already saw Mohamed Salah go off. It was just a really beautiful performance from Liverpool, putting them at top of the table in the Prem. But I really do think they're the best team in the Prem, man. And so I have a question for you. Are they favorites now? Are they favorites? Are they going to go on and win the whole thing? Are they better than City in the long run? Obviously, it looks like they're a lot better than Arsenal in this moment. City's right underneath them, but do you see Liverpool now as favorites?
I said it back when we defeated Crystal Palace that was the moment I realized Liverpool were in the title race. Not favorites, but in the title race. And what I've seen now since that match and the games that have progressed since then in the Champions League and in the Premier League, and you can even say the Carabao Cup as well, because we put in a great performance against Brighton midweek too. After this performance today specifically, they're the favorites. Yeah. They're the best team in England, bro. They're the best team in England. They're a contender for best team in the world, up there with Barcelona at this moment in terms of form and quality. I think Liverpool truly is in the title race, bro. Like truly, but in the sense of they're the team to beat now. They look the most set, the most confident in getting the title this year. They don't look as shaky or as human as Manchester City have looked this year, and definitely not as exposed as Arsenal has looked this year either. So I think as of this moment now, Liverpool is the favorite team to win the Premier League, and it's got me so hyped, bro. So excited. Like I'm starting to save photos, wallpapers of like the season that we've had so far. And that's a rare thing that I do. That's something I do that when I feel something special is coming. So at the very least, I do hope to see Liverpool lift some silverware, whether it's here or in the Champions League or domestically in some of our cup tournaments. But overall, I think this is the real deal. This team is a real deal. Arne Slot has come in and just absolutely put his fingerprints all over this team. The team has bought into him, and they have the class and talent to just lift themselves even higher. I just can't believe it. I thought that we'd be a level below with a new coach in and Jurgen Klopp leaving, but it's proven to be the complete opposite, which is an amazing thing to say, and all credit to Arne Slot.
Dude, yes, I completely agree because I'm with you. After this Brighton result, I think Liverpool are the favorites to win the Premier League. Obviously, City are right there, and they have the pedigree to do it again. But at the beginning of the season, I just saw City as, I like that description, a little bit more human this year. I just think a lot of their players are fatigued from the last two grueling seasons that they've had. Also, they're a little bit unlucky with injuries, but it's just a state of fact. They can't change any of that. But in general, they've looked just a little weaker, especially defensively. So the fact that Liverpool look pretty much the exact opposite in the sense that they do not waver when they are handed a very tough opponent. Because the last three games in the Premier League, I've thought for a good 30 to 40 minutes that Liverpool were going to crack and concede 2-3 goals. But they don't. They do concede, but it doesn't change their approach. They stay incredibly calm. They don't concede anymore. And as I mentioned last week, their offense is incredibly clinical. Incredibly clinical. And when you have a guy like Mohamed Salah, who's one of the best Premier League players of all time, then I think you are the best team in the league and are now favorites. Yeah, no, and shout out to Gomez. I thought Gomez was great this game. Kelleher, another great game. Yeah. Everybody on the pitch I thought was incredible. And I agree, man. Manchester City looks human this season. Obviously missing Rodri for the entire year is going to play a big role here, but then also missing Kevin De Bruyne, as it showed in their match against Bournemouth, where Bournemouth got the 2-1 result at home and now have gotten victories over both Manchester City and Arsenal. They themselves are on a really good run, I think, now at the moment in 9th place now in the Premier League. And Manchester City dropping 3 full points here. I think this is why I say that they're so human now. There's an element to them that I think is missing, mainly due to injuries, but also, I guess, I don't know. The mentality, the hunger doesn't seem to be there this year. I agree. And that's why I thought City wouldn't win it again. But I did not expect Liverpool to be this strong. And that's why I'm comfortable saying Liverpool are favorites. For City in this game against Bournemouth, I think that fault of theirs of not being that hungry is why they lost this game. Because Bournemouth looked so hungry in this match. Antoine Semenyo, man.
Yeah,
oh my, what a
baller.
performance, man. Just the nonstop work rate of that striker. He had a beautiful touch and finish with a beautiful pass from Milos Kerkez on the left-hand side to open up the game against City. And honestly, they could have gone up 2-3 goals. They eventually did get a second, another really good goal, another assist from Milos Kerkez. But yeah, Bournemouth looked absolutely incredible once again. And as you said, already getting points off of City, Arsenal, and at the time Aston Villa as well. They got a draw. So Bournemouth right now are giant slayers, and they're doing an incredible job. But what a flip. Andoni Iraola has been with this team for a while now, and they showed bits of this last season. They had such a slow start this season, but they've started to really pick it up, man. They have a really good team.
No, I like Bournemouth a lot this year. And dude, this is why I say the Prem is so much better than La Liga. Because the way these teams step up to play against the top contenders in the leagues, like, you just don't see that in La Liga, man. You really do. You really don't. And so credit to Bournemouth, because they're the ones that end Manchester City's 32-game unbeaten run. It comes at the hands of Bournemouth with Kerkez getting 2 assists. I thought he was a great player in this game. And you already mentioned Semenyo having a really good match. And for Manchester City, I think just the whole team is underperforming right now, man. The whole team. Phil Foden, haven't been able to find him since before the Euros, man. That one's really disappointing because he was so crucial, so key to Manchester City's run last year. It almost seems like he doesn't want to be involved this year. I don't know what's going on with him, but you could say that for most players out there outside of maybe Haaland, who isn't just he honestly isn't getting enough service with this team, which is a crazy thing to say. Gundogan, I think, has been underperforming as well. And if anything, Gvardiol has been one of the better offensive options for them in the past few games. City loses, and this is a big moment in the title race as Bournemouth get the 3 points and enter the top 10. And likewise, Arsenal losing as well to Newcastle United 1-0.
Yeah, and this has been coming for Arsenal. I mean, they've had a really tough now 3 weeks at this point.
Yeah.
And when I saw that they were going to play Newcastle, I was just nervous.
There's a feeling, man.
You had a bad feeling.
Yeah.
You had a really bad feeling because it's just been rough for Arsenal, man. And just knowing Newcastle, they've had, I would say, an average season. They haven't been spectacular, but they haven't been poor. But just knowing that Arsenal's form has been also shaky, I kind of saw this coming, man. I think honestly everybody did. Yeah, I don't think anybody's really surprised. I think what just really is frustrating from an Arsenal perspective is how important Odegaard ultimately is. Because I think he is the sole contributor to Arsenal being offensively smooth.
Damn.
If he's not there, yeah, they can score goals, but they're just not as efficient, man.
Yeah.
And they just don't have that spark. They really don't. Like, Bukayo Saka can score goals, but if he's not scoring goals and Havertz isn't scoring goals, there's just nothing else, man. It's not that Odegaard gets a lot of goals, but I think he just creates so many opportunities that Arsenal eventually score. Without him, though, as we've seen this entire last month, Arsenal are limited offensively, man. And it's just really shown these last 3 games.
No, you're
really
right.
Shown.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I don't know. So a part of me just was trying to figure out why this Arsenal team is just kind of bad right now. I guess it really does come down to Odegaard not being there. Yeah. And he's just the man in charge offensively. He knows how to pull the strings for this offense, and everybody kind of relies on him to be able to help themselves out in these big matches, and it just doesn't work. Havertz doesn't look as impactful as he did to start the season. I thought he was really good, but it was when Odegaard was healthy. Yeah. And then, the additions of Raheem Sterling haven't done anything for this team, and honestly, there's too much pressure, I think, on guys like Martinelli and Saka to deliver. Saka can deliver, but Martinelli, I think, has been disappointing this entire year as well. So, yeah, missing Odegaard ends up being the title deciding factor for Arsenal this year, which is really disappointing, and something that they got to figure out now going into the next season is, do they sign someone that can work that creative midfield role? It's not an easy one, bro. It really isn't. It's tough to find talent out there that actually can, but they might have to look for some sort of talent there because they don't have that right now, and it's showing.
Yeah, and after this weekend, I did a comparison of Liverpool's offensive line and Arsenal's.
What'd you find?
It's just so different in the sense of form. Outside of Bukayo Saka, as you already mentioned, the wing play of Arsenal it's just not there, man.
Yeah.
It really isn't there. But you look at Liverpool, a guy like Cody Gakpo, for example. Sure, he hasn't actually been in that great of form this season, but there's still a moment in every single match that he plays in where he does something truly spectacular, or he changes a game where he gets other players involved. And that's just Cody Gakpo, probably your least influential player up top. Because then you can bring on Luis Diaz off the bench, who's incredibly direct. You have one of the best players in the league in Mohamed Salah on the other side. You have Diogo Jota, who's an incredible finisher, especially with Liverpool. Yes, he's injured. Well, then you have a really hard-working Darwin Núñez, who's honestly been really good in build-up. He's not scoring, but he is getting actually a weird amount of assists. He's working really hard. And when you look at Arsenal, Saka, I still think, is doing his thing. I'm actually not going to even be critical of him because when he does play, he's usually the main guy who's doing anything for Arsenal. But outside of Saka, Havertz clearly needs service. He needs a player like Odegaard underneath him to combine with. And then that left-hand side, dude, it's been non-existent. Non-existent. There's nothing. Martinelli's drop in form over the last 12 months has been gradual, but it has been ugly to see because he's not there anymore.
What happened though, man? Like 2 seasons ago, he had like 15 in the Prem as a winger.
As a winger, exactly. And I think you would have hoped that he could have kept that form the way that Liverpool's forwards have kept their form for the most part. But it's just not there. That entire left-hand side is completely non-existent for Arsenal. And then you look at players like Raheem Sterling. He's never really been a big goal scorer, at least with a team like this. He needs to be the go-to guy. He's not going to be that under Mikel Arteta. And then Trossard. Trossard has been clutch for Arsenal, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to get you 15, 20 goals a season. He's not that type of guy. If anything, he's just more of a creator, right?
Yeah.
But even then, like, he finds himself on the bench a lot of times. So it's just like this whole offensive line for Arsenal is just out of form.
Disappointing what's come of him, man.
Exactly.
He had a good 3 months once he got signed. And then injuries and form, he barely gets playing time.
And now he barely plays. The only time he plays is in the 80th minute when Havertz can't score.
God.
So that's what Jesus has been reduced to. Exactly. So just looking at it all now, if Arsenal's 11 is fully healthy and in form, they're one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
But if you take away 2, 3 of those guys, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I think that's why Arsenal now find themselves with a pretty substantial gap between themselves and Liverpool now.
Yeah. No, they're saying that watching Arsenal is like watching Netflix because you're always waiting on the next season. That's what they said. They said that online, not me. They said that online, bro. And I think it's true, especially now. Now you're just looking forward to the next one. In the Prem, at least. In the Prem, at least.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful, man, is that with this loss of Arsenal and with the loss of Manchester City, we have a new team enter the top 3 of the Premier League. And it's a team that I feel really justified about, man, because we made a point to bring them up on this show about a month ago with how well they were playing and the fact that they were cracking into the top 10 in ways that they hadn't before. But to see them where they are now, man, incredible. Nottingham Forest getting a solid victory over West Ham. I think it was 3-0 at home.
Yep.
Chris Wood, 8 goals in the Prem, 3 behind Erling Haaland now. And Nuno Espiritu Santo has this team performing at very high levels and now in 3rd place, bro. Above Chelsea, above Tottenham, above Villa in the Premier League.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had Forest in 3rd on their bingo card this year,
Hell
bro.
no,
There's
man.
just absolutely no way. I'm actually very shocked by this. I thought that they would continue their form, but in the sense of like being in that upper mid-table region.
That's all I wanted.
That's all. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I could have expected out of a really good side that has really grown under Nuno Espiritu Santo. But for them to be in the top 3, above all of these big rivals, and right underneath Liverpool and City, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good to see. And the game against West Ham, completely dominant. West Ham also did have a red card. Edson Alvarez.
Let's not talk about
really
it.
bad moment, man.
2
really
yellows, bad. Come
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah, exactly. That obviously changed the game. But even prior to that point, right before halftime, Forest were pretty much controlling the game. Yeah, West Ham had a couple of moments.
They weren't going to win it, man.
I don't think they were going to win
this year. Not this year.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a well-deserved win yet again for Forest. They just have really good chemistry. They have a really good idea on how to attack. They're also very balanced because you have a really good winger, for example, in Anthony Elanga, who's just very direct. But then you have really good hardworking midfielders like Nico Dominguez, who's not necessarily creative, but he's box to box. He can also join in on the attack. And then we've already mentioned the center backs this year for Nottingham Forest have been incredible, man. They're completely outplaying themselves. So it's amazing to see the form of this Forest side. And I think they completely deserve to be in third place.
Is it sustainable?
That's the thing. I'm so surprised they're here.
Right?
So I'm not going to say it's sustainable, but look, man, I'm going to be cheering for them.
I'm down for it.
I'm down for it,
bro. Especially when other teams that should be here are disappointing. Like our beautiful Villa.
Dude, Villa, we have to talk about how disappointing they've been. But the thing is, the last like 6 games is like a big win and then a draw. You're like, okay, why did we draw if we won the last game 4-1? You know what I mean? And then after a draw, okay, a nice tight 2-1 win. All right. Yeah. And then the next game, a loss. Like 1-0. Like, wait, whoa. Like Villa, we're supposed to score 3-4 goals a game and we lost 1-0. Yeah. So it's just, the inconsistencies have been very concerning this last month specifically. Yeah. And it hasn't stopped.
And what's bad, what really pisses me off is that it feels intentional. It feels like it's on purpose to get you and me mad because anytime an opportunity has been presented to Villa, I would say even last year, where they can jump over a team in the standings and make a big notable move. Remember last year when they were potential title contenders and they had defeated Manchester City and they were on the rise and all this bullshit. And they went on to pretty much disappoint the rest of the season. Obviously, they got Champions League qualification. That was an amazing achievement. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying this team could have been a top 2 team potential. At least maybe carry that narrative with them. Yeah. And this year especially, I thought they definitely have the talent, the skill level to be consistently in the top 4. But they've been in and out of it nonstop, dude, nonstop. And every time there's an opportunity to jump and make a gradual move in the standings, that's when they disappoint. Yep. Not when they're going to win and just stay in the same spot. Because that's what they end up doing. Pisses me off.
Bro, it is infuriating, man. Especially considering the way they started the season, the amount of transfers that they've done, they've all been in the positive direction. It finally looked like, okay, Villa can be a sustainable title contender, not just a top 4 type of team, but actually go for that number 1 spot. And what's crazy, Arsenal have disappointed this season. Yep. City look weaker. You have the top 2 teams last year looking weaker this year. And it looked set for Villa to at least be in that top 2, top 3 position. And now Nottingham Forest is there instead. And
Chelsea.
And Chelsea right there. Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's so disappointing for Villa specifically because it was all set for them to be in the top 3.
And all set. Yeah, and the way it happened today with them actually scoring first, Morgan Rogers getting on the board, 1-0, they're up. They go into halftime feeling good. And then the second half, it's a Tottenham takeover. Yep. With 4 goals in that second half. Some really beautiful finishes from Dominic Solanke, James Maddison, beautiful free kick goal, and Tottenham celebrating a really nice Sunday at home with a 4-1 victory at the end of the day, which now propels them to 7th place in the standings, only 2 points behind Villa.
And we're frustrated about Villa, but obviously if you're a Spurs fan, you have to be just as frustrated because this is the potential of Tottenham. This is what I saw a month and a half ago.
First game of the year, I think they did the same thing.
Exactly. The potential is so clearly there in this Tottenham team to be an offensive juggernaut that also has the balance and talent to defend with their good defensive line. This is the potential. A huge 4-1 win against a good Villa side, if you would call them that. But they just can't do it consistently, man. They just can't. They've actually been poor the last 3 weeks. This is their best result in a while, bro. So for Tottenham, they're just as inconsistent as Villa. So it makes sense that they're only 2 points behind them now.
No, and there's so many teams in the Prem right now that you can say similar thing about. A lot of changes happening. A lot of drama is happening behind the scenes. And this is the last Premier League team I want to talk about. Last matchup, Manchester United versus Chelsea. And I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this new era that's coming in from Manchester United as it's now been announced since we last talked about Premier League? Manchester United has hired Ruben Amorim, the Sporting CP coach who brought them the league title last year, and that duopoly of FC Porto and Benfica. It was Ruben Amorim who brought the title to Sporting CP and brought them glory. Gets signed to become the Manchester United head coach. And in the meantime, we had Ruud van Nistelrooy take over for the next couple of weeks, I believe. Thoughts on Amorim as the new Manchester United coach?
Yeah, Amorim has been a part of Sporting's best era, I'd say, over the last 20 years. This has been Sporting's best era this last 5 years. Amorim has been a huge part of that, getting them two Portuguese titles, and then also just seeing them be, somewhat competitive in Champions League.
They beat Arsenal in the Europa League?
They did Europa League, yeah, they did. So, they've had really good flashes of good moments, and I think for a side like Sporting, that is something worth noting. Here's the thing, though. He's going to probably one of the worst ran clubs in Europe. And it doesn't matter if it's Amorim. It doesn't matter if it's Pep Guardiola going there. I can't put anything on the coach at this point because the amount of coaches that United have run through over the last basically 10 years has been comical. Yeah. Because it doesn't really matter who comes in. The same thing has happened every single time they lose the locker room. Every single time. Even greats like Jose Mourinho got kicked out because he just lost the locker room, he lost faith in the board, and they lost faith in him, and so they just kicked him out. This has happened time and time again. And when they signed Erik ten Hag, they said, all right, we're going to get a guy who we're going to let build this team back up because he had the resume to do that when he did it in the Netherlands with Ajax. He had that ability. And so they gave him the keys to do that. And look at how it ended. The team wanted him out by the way they were playing because United have been playing so poorly this year. Yeah. And not only that, Ten Hag just looks so stressed out, bro. Yeah. And this is what United does to coaches, right? It brings the worst in
the idea I have of Ten Hag now is crazy compared to what I thought about him going in.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to think so highly of him.
Same.
Now I can't even look at the guy and respect him.
It's tough, bro.
It's crazy.
And so that's why I'm not going to say anything about Amorim's tenure at United until I see change over a long period of time.
So you're saying be patient?
I'm saying be patient. I'm not going to put anything on the coach. I'm not going to put on anything on any coach that coaches United until I see distinct change within the veins and blood flow of this club, man. And so, look, good luck to him. He is a great coach. I already talked about his accolades at Sporting. He is a good coach. Yeah. He can change it around, but Ten Hag could have too, right? And 100%. He unfortunately failed. I'm not putting a lot on the coaches because every single coach that leaves United, the first thing they say is there's 5-6 players that shouldn't even be at this club, right?
No, 100%.
And I bet you Ten Hag's going to say something very similar if he ever gets interviewed in the sense that, like, the players didn't give me what I wanted. I had tactics and they just wouldn't follow them. Like, I bet you something similar is going to come out if Ten Hag ever gets asked. So that's why I'm saying, like, when it comes to coaches at United, I just need to see drastic change over a long period of time.
100%. I do think you need to be patient if you're a Manchester United fan. Amorim does have promise, potential. I like his story a lot. Yeah. I really, really do. But obviously, coming into his Manchester United team right now, I think it's going to take some time because I was watching the game today against Chelsea, and I'm watching Garnacho barely dribble the ball, bro. Yeah. I'm watching him scuff some terrible opportunities. I'm seeing guys like Højlund still try to figure it out. I'm starting to see the fullbacks, the defense, still trying to figure themselves out to a high level. You still have good players, though. You do. And I think why I end up criticizing Ten Hag in his tenure is although he did come into a very toxic environment, he was given the money, the funds to buy whoever he wanted, and he ultimately did, fielding, I think, more than half of the team that he fielded back in Ajax too. So I think he made some bad mistakes that are worth criticizing, and I think we might see a similar thing here with Amorim, essentially in a way bringing his top talent from Sporting CP over, considering that he already has Ugarte there, who was at Sporting CP under him, which propelled him to his big move to PSG. Bruno Fernandes never played under Amorim, but apparently he left Sporting CP a month before Amorim arrived, which is a really funny thing. Yeah. But ultimately, I don't think... is there a signing more clear here than Gyökeres going to Manchester United and being the striker? Like, I feel like that's so obvious, bro.
They need a striker. This was my criticism of them at the beginning of the season in the sense that their transfers are shit. Yeah. And not getting a striker. But if you get a guy like Gyökeres who knows the coach, I mean, what better signing than Gyökeres himself? So, I'm down for it. But like I said, I just don't trust I don't trust anything United related.
Okay.
I don't trust it.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, man.
I'm with you though. I am. I have hope in Amorim, but I know that this is not going to be a 1 or 2 year project. This is going to take a while until I can actually look at Manchester United and be like, they're title contenders.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not going to buy into it until we're 32 games into the season and they're in the top 2. That's what it's going to take for me. But I do have hope in Amorim that he could do something special with this team, mainly because of the narrative he brings and the energy that he brings. I like how he looks on that touchline. He's got that aura, bro. He's got that aura. Let's see what he can do with this team, or if he leaves it looking like a shell of himself. Why don't we cleanse our palate with all this talk of bad coaching performances and becoming a shell of yourself? Let's talk about a coach that's actually doing a wonderful, productive, great job in Hansi Flick, who's got this Barcelona team cooking the same way they've been cooking last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago. Since the day this season started, they have been nonstop greatness, just amazing to watch. And they do it once again in a matchup against Espanyol where they win 3-1. But bro, once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they end a match before the 30th minute, getting that goal, that third one, right at the 30th minute mark. Put a smile on my face because I was like, great, I can leave this match. There's nothing else for me to see here. Once they get that third goal for the fourth straight match in a row, I'm out.
Yeah.
Deuces. I got what I needed, and Barcelona gets the victory.
Yeah, if you just want to be entertained, please just go watch Barcelona. Like, I know most of y'all do, definitely, but like, dude, that first goal, Lamine Yamal, what a pass!
What is he thinking, man?
Oh my God!
What is he thinking?
I don't know how he even saw that, but not only to just see that pass and to see the run, but to execute it. He had to get the exact right curl on it. He put the right amount of speed on it, and the precision's ridiculous.
Yeah, the precision.
And he's 17 years old. I'm on repeat praising Yamal, man. I'm on repeat, but it is an absolute joy because he's a top talent, truly. Please go watch that assist. It's ridiculous.
The window he had, the window of opportunity there. Every time I watch back that highlight, I'm just like, when did he anticipate that Dynamo would know the pass would go there? Though they're on the same wavelength, man. Yeah. These two guys, and then also just like you said, the precision and the execution is amazing. I think he's on 6 goals, 8 assists this year already.
Damn, bro.
And I was thinking about it, man, because I love my Ballon d'Or talk. I think right now the front runners, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Leva, I need those 3 guys, but then also Mo Salah. I think those are the leaders right now for Ballon d'Or individual awards. Those guys have been incredible. And then maybe you could even add Dani Olmo after a game like this, who got a brace in this match. He's been coming back from injury, put minutes in El Clásico, but now got a full performance here and showcase his talent once again, man. When Dani Olmo is healthy, I just can't believe how dynamic he is and the extra edge that he offers to Barcelona, an already stacked offensive line. Dani Olmo with confidence behind them, just passing the ball around and finishing as well. It's a crazy weapon to have, man.
I don't know where this finishing has come from, to be completely honest. He started to showcase this at the Euros. He's continued it completely with Barcelona this year. His finishing is elite, and he was never this type of finisher ever before in his career. Basically, Barcelona has unlocked a completely new side of Dani Olmo, and they're reaping the benefits.
He took it from Mbappe, bro.
Yeah, probably, man.
The timing.
His finishing's ridiculous. Like, again, that first goal, yes, it was a brilliant pass from Yamal, but Olmo had to do a lot there.
Yeah.
He had to do a lot, and he bangs it in like it's nothing. Like, it's ridiculous. This is the talent that Barcelona have offensively, which is why they're one of the best teams in Europe right now.
They have a plus 29 goal differential already. 10 games into the season.
Good Lord.
I just come on, man. If you don't win the title, it's destined. They are the best team in Spain. It's already determined for me.
Determined,
I don't have any questions here. And really, the only question I have that's kind of fun, I was thinking about it, is who so far would you say has been the best offensive player for Barcelona this year? Is it Pichichi, leader Leva? Is it Rafinha? I got to make you pick one. Let's have some fun here. And people watching, give me your vote down below in the comments. Who's been Barcelona's best offensive player so far? Yamal, Rafinha, or Leva?
I'm going to give it to Rafinha just because he does the most. You'll see him track back, get the ball, start a play from deep. You'll also see him be on the touchline, go out wide, be his natural winger self. But the way he's played under Hansi Flick, he also comes in centrally a lot, pretty much on every other play, and he starts to dictate play from a central attacking midfield position, combining with Yamal, combining with Olmo, combining with Pedri, combining with Leva. And then, of course, he's also scoring a lot in this team as well. I just think he's the offensive general of this side. Now, here's the thing, man. Lewandowski's almost just as important because he's finishing all of these chances.
That's crazy.
That's the thing. So it's like, this is a tough question. I'm going to give it to Rafinha just because I think he does ever so slightly more than Lewandowski. Yeah. That's it, though.
No, you're right. But it's just crazy. All three of them, they're so important to the system. I don't think it works without either one of them. Yeah. But we can't underrate, Leva's finishing, his goal scoring ability. The fact that he's turned it up this year, fully. You were previewing it before the season started that you thought Leva would arrive 100% now. Yeah. Now that he's settled in Barcelona. And we've been seeing it, man, nonstop. He's been so huge to their success. But I'm going to go Lamine Yamal. I think there's a difference-making factor there, an unpredictability now that every time he's on the ball, it's a touch of magic as well attached to it. So I think he ignites this Barcelona team emotionally, but then he always has that unpredictable factor to him where you don't know what he's going to do next, and it's almost impossible to guard. 17 years old and trying to figure out a kid of this magnitude is a crazy task for most La Liga defenses, and he's proven it so far to actually deliver in every match. Because do you remember, early in the season, you said you genuinely believe that there's a chance that Lamine Yamal could score or assist in every single match. Yeah. I think he's done that in all but 2 games, bro.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Which goes to your point of Ballon d'Or frontrunners already for the end of this season. Yamal's right there.
I can't believe
he's right there, considering how much he's contributing to this side. It's ridiculous, and I do like that. As far as an entertainment perspective, I think obviously Yamal is just so fascinating to watch because of his youth, but also because of his unpredictability. I really don't know if he's just going to go with pure pace and take a player one-on-one, or if he's going to try and get crafty, do a little trick here or there, or if he's going to do a beautiful assist or just go for goal. He's pretty much triple threat on the ball. He can do anything. He's so entertaining to watch.
Last thing I'll say, man, is these La Liga teams, though, man. No one wants to put up a fight.
Nah, man.
Barca's doing all this, and it's credit to them. But I feel like if Liverpool was in this league, they'd be doing the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just going to be honest.
Absolutely, bro.
I don't want to discredit either team. I'm just saying that I think La
Chelsea
Liga
would do this too. I think Chelsea would do this too.
They would be getting some major blowouts, bro. Because these La Liga lower level teams are not putting up any sort of fight, man. It's a little frustrating.
They're trying. I'll give them that. Espanyol tried in this match.
They got one.
They got one. They actually scored 2 other ones that were offside. You can't count those, but they tried. Yeah. But the unfortunate part is an average La Liga side trying just it's not even that good.
Yeah.
So I just get super disappointed. And the ones that are good, they're just so inconsistent. Real Betis, the offensive potential that they have, they could be right there above Atletico, maybe right behind Real Madrid, but they're just not going to do it. They never do it. They're always right in that 5th to 8th place. They can never overachieve and be consistent for 38 games. They just can't do it. And Athletic, you already know my qualms on Athletic, bro. They have so many good players, but it never comes together. It just doesn't happen. So you get this really wonky product where they can play good football, and they do play good football, but we need to beat teams like Barcelona or Real Madrid. It just never happens.
Yeah. Hey, Atletico Madrid getting 2-0 victory.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? Didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Didn't watch
rare,
it, and they won. So I'm gonna see how long this lasts, because the last 2 results have been really bad. Me watching, and I'm gonna see how long this lasts. Maybe a little voodoo here.
Atletico's so inconsistent, bro. You'll be back in 4 days.
Yeah,
you'll be back.
And also another thing, it was against Las Palmas.
Oh, 100%.
One of the worst teams in the league. So
let's not waste any more seconds on that, then, man, because we have a title race update in Italy with league leaders Napoli hosting Atalanta.
I was really excited about this matchup because this is a top 3 sides going against each other. Napoli, Atalanta. There was a 6-point gap though between them going into this match. We're in Naples. Atalanta, the reigning Europa League champions, have caught fire over the last 4 or 5 matches. So I was actually very excited to see, could they cut the gap to 3? Not just get a draw, go for the win in Naples against a high-flying Napoli side that haven't looked this good since they last won the Scudetto 2 years ago. This was a hell of a matchup. And look, man, Ademola Lookman went off, bro. Went completely off.
Oh, when he's on, bro.
Exactly.
That's the thing, yeah.
When he's on, he's ridiculously entertaining to watch because he has all the pace in the world, but he couples it with ridiculous touches and fantastic finishing. As he got 2 goals today against Napoli, both of them brilliant. The first one, an improvisational type of rebound shot. The second one, just a brilliant finish, a perfectly placed shot. Goalkeeper probably could have done a little bit better, but it doesn't matter. It's Lookman. And his finest performance, you can't stop him. We saw in the Europa League final. We saw it once again today against Napoli, the league leaders. What a performance from Atalanta, because even outside of Lookman's performance, they were the better team completely. Napoli honestly didn't play bad. I'm not even going to say that they underperformed, that they didn't show up. They did. Napoli actually showed up in this match, but Atalanta outplayed them. They had the better game plan. Overall, I thought they worked harder. They also stretched them more. We saw Lookman get on the ball. And then ultimately, Napoli get 3 goals, bro. Yeah, they get 3 goals. Atalanta get 3 goals ultimately. So this was a fantastic win for Atalanta. And low-key kind of concerning for Napoli as far as, okay, they're gonna have some fight now. Atalanta are gonna be their rivals.
We got a title race now. And as a neutral, it's very exciting. But I was almost questioning for a minute there, seeing how hot Napoli started this whole season under Conte. I thought they're back. The 2 years ago version Napoli are back with the way they started before this game today. And I thought, well, let's see. How big can they make the gap here? Because when they won the title, they went on such a crazy run of form that they created like a 20-point gap, bro.
Yeah.
And so this gave me the same feeling before this match. I was like, damn, they're on a crazy run. If they win here today, then it might be over, bro. Like, they're going to continue this form, and they're just going to win. They're just going to go on and win a Scudetto. But then when I saw the scoreline, 3-0 away from home, we got a title race.
Yeah.
We got a title race, and it excites me because Atalanta, as you said, is starting to pick up form. And look, man, when he's on fire, when he's cooking like this, is an incredible, incredible player. 6 goals, 4 assists already this season. When he's on it like this, over 90 minutes, you don't want to be facing this guy, man. You really don't. And he was unstoppable. And then ultimately that 3rd goal came from Retegui getting a nice goal to put the dagger in Napoli and close this game out. Now we have a 3-point gap between 1st and 2nd, as well as a couple of other Italian teams right there in 3rd and 4th that I think are kind of close. So we got a title race, bro. I'm excited, and now I'm more invested in Serie A because of it.
Yeah, same. So if you're looking for another title race to watch, maybe Spain's done, please go to Italy because there's some good football being played. And if you're a Napoli fan, I would be concerned because this was not a bad performance, but you guys lost 3-0. The only question I think that will remain is, can Atalanta keep this up? This is Atalanta's biggest problem, is they usually have a really bad half of the season, and then they're just perfect for another half, right? And so it always allows them to, be in the top 4 of Italy. But if they can just be in this form for the entire season, I think they are better than Napoli. I think they are better than Juventus, and I think they are better than Milan. So the only question is, maybe are they better than Inter? Well, we'll see, because Inter Milan is right there as well. Yeah. So it's going to be a really cool title race in Italy. I hope Atalanta can keep this up because when they are on fire, they're so fun to watch. One quick update. I mentioned, I think 2 weeks ago, Nuno Tavares, the left back of Lazio. I said he had 5 assists in 5 matches at the time. Okay. He's now increased that to 8 assists in 8 matches.
He had a hat trick of assists?
No. In general.
In general.
Yeah. In Italy, he's now on 8 assists.
Bro, that's crazy.
And he's a left back.
That's crazy.
So watch Lazio football, because if they catch fire, I do think they could join this conversation. Damn. So, it's getting fun in Italy.
It's getting fun. We'll have to keep up with it for sure. We have another title race update. Another one. Title race update. Overseas. Let's go back to our home state. Let's go back to the motherland. We're going to go to Mexico real quick. Yeah. Where we have Cruz Azul defeating Santos 2-0. And that might not sound too notable because Santos been in the mud for a while, bro. Wild. Good Lord, bro. Every time I watch Santos, it feels like I've been watching the same Santos for the past 28 years, 29 years of my life, bro. It's the same team when it comes to performance, when it comes to quality, level of talent. Disappointing if you're a Santos fan. Yeah. But if you're a Cruz Azul fan, man, history is being made. 40 points accumulated now with 2 games left in the season, in the regular season at least. The record 43 points set by America in the 2002 Apertura.
Yeah.
Cruz Azul has a chance here to essentially blow it, getting 6 points in total and winning the last 2 matches. They have to face off against Atlas away from home and then Tigres at home in their final match. When America broke the record with 43 points in 2002, they ended up losing the title by getting knocked out in the quarterfinals to, at the time, Ricardo Lavolpe's Toluca side.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
They
Did all
choked.
that. They did a choke job, bro.
Choke
job.
Oh my God.
Eliminated in the quarters,
That's
bro?
bad, bro.
Terrible,
That's
man.
really bad. That's
So
not happening to Cruz Azul.
Cruz Azul has a chance
not
to
happening.
make history regular season-wise, but then go into the Liguilla with the highest amount of confidence that any team has ever accumulated going into it, man.
Yeah.
And am I saying they're going to win a title? I'm not, because I know Liga MX lore. I know how things work around here. I get scared. I get worried. I know the history behind La Máquina. I know what can happen. I'm not going to say they're going to win a title. You can do that. You can do it if you want. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
But am I rooting for it to happen? 100%. They've been the best team in Liga MX by far, and they have a chance at history, man.
Yeah. I just don't think any team can realistically beat them. I think the only team that maybe could is Toluca, but even then, over a 2-legged series, I don't see Cruz Azul losing. They've been pretty much perfect all season long. Their offense is so much better than every other Mexican team except Toluca. Toluca is the only team that can rival their offense, but I think Cruz Azul have a better defense. That's it. I think Toluca, pretty much against any team that they play that has somewhat of an offense, I think they look a little shaky, but they always make it up by scoring goals. I think Cruz Azul are just by far the best team in Liga MX. I will be surprised if they don't lift the title. I'm going to go even further than just winning it. I will be surprised if they don't
I
win
can
it.
meet you there, though. I can meet you there.
I'm going to be surprised if they don't win it, bro.
I'll be surprised, too.
I
But
think
are you
they're-
picking them?
Yeah, they're clear favorites. Clear favorites. I've never
You put money on it.
I've never been more sure.
Oh, okay,
of
okay.
I'm telling you, I'm going
You
further.
go there,
here.
you go there.
I'm going way far here. I've never been more sure of a Liga MX favorite. I don't think ever. I'm going to
Okay.
be completely honest.
All right, bro.
Because there's usually a really good America side or a really good Tigre side.
Yeah.
Usually. This is, I think, probably the first time in I don't know how long where both of those teams are honestly underperforming. Both Tigres and America are just above average, whereas Cruz Azul are flying so high. Toluca could be a really good rival, but even then, I just think Cruz Azul's offense is too much. I think I've never seen, I don't think the gap be this big, which I think correlates with the idea that they're about to break a points record. I think that means something in the sense that the rest of the talent in Liga MX is just completely subpar when you compare it to Cruz Azul.
They're the Barcelona of Liga MX.
Yeah.
That's what I have in my notes. The Barcelona, the way they're playing, their offense, the chemistry, it's ridiculous. I can't believe they formed this sort of monster in Liga MX.
I know.
After going to the final last year and losing to America, what they've done in response has been just perfect.
Yeah.
And Cruz Azul fans, I think, must be feeling incredible. Some of them saying they forgot how it feels to lose, bro. They forgot how it feels to lose.
Yeah, bro.
It's been that long. The streak has been incredible. I think the only team they lost to was San Luis. Somehow Atletico San Luis beat them. So this is it, man. This is it for Cruz Azul. This is the chance. If we got any Liga MX fans, let me know. Do you have Cruz Azul winning? Because I just want to know how many people are on the same wave. I really do. Let's go over to the United States, where we have the wonderful MLS playoffs in full action now, with round 1 happening. Best of 3 game series all over the place. 8 different matchups. Lots of football all over.
Yeah.
But some crazy drama, man,
Yeah.
with what we've seen unfold. Let's just start with the craziest headline, I guess, in my opinion. The result of the Inter Miami Atlanta United second leg, where Atlanta United gets a 2-1 victory at the death in the last minute, getting a game-winning goal.
Yeah, the atmosphere looked lit. And we've seen it before,
bro.
man. Atlanta always shows up in the Mercedes-Benz, and they definitely showed up with Messi in town. But not just the fans showed up, Atlanta United showed up, bro, because I think they were the better team. I think they deserved it completely. When you look at the goal they conceded, it was a Guzan Howler.
Bro.
It was a Guzan Howler.
What a blunder, man.
bro.
Follow through, man.
I know, man. At least create contact or something, man. Fake the shit out of it. Do something, bro. But he just dropped the... He's like, wait, the fuck? And then A nice cheeky
Dude,
chip.
Cheeky chip, man.
But if that's the only goal you concede, then I think you play a really good game. And you look at the rest of the chances, Messi started to get a little bit more active in the second half, but nothing really concrete for Miami, which might be a little concerning going into the third game. But the way Atlanta responded in that second half, a beautiful delivery from Amador, a nice header to equalize, and then Xande Silva with a banger at the death. Game winner. What a goal.
Beautiful.
What a beautiful goal. So cold, so clutch. Atlanta United deserved this win, I think, fully. And now we got a game 3 in Inter Miami. Must win here.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Scenes, man. Scenes. 70,000 in attendance, man. The scenes, the visuals just looked incredible. And that game winner, I love the build up to it. There's some nice little one-touch play. And then Xande Silva with the confidence to just blast into the back of the net. Amazing moments. We got game 3 now. Game 3 in Miami's home.
Yeah, if you're Miami, though, I'd be worried.
You're worried.
I'm worried because Atlanta United had a good game 1 as well. They actually played great. It took a Jordi Alba screamer to break them. And so I think Atlanta United have caught fire over the last 4 matches specifically. They had to play a really good decision day, and they did. And then they obviously won their play-in to get here. They had a great game 1, and they had an even better game 2. Honestly, if I'm Atlanta United, if I'm the coach, if I'm the players, I'm thinking big upset here. Like, I'm not even like hoping, I'm thinking it. And so this could be really like maybe America 2002 type of vibes here, bro, because I honestly think the upset's completely on. I think it's on.
But are you going with it?
No, I can't. I can't if Messi's on the pitch.
Thank you, bro. I was like, what are you trying to sway me to say here? I can't.
All I'm saying is don't be surprised if Atlanta win because of the way they've been playing. Do not be surprised at all, but I can't go against Inter when Messi's on the pitch. I can't. I can't. If he was slightly injured or if he wasn't playing, I'm going all Atlanta, right? But if Messi's on the pitch, they have a week to rest as well, which I think is massive. That's massive. I'm going to give it to Inter Miami, but the way Atlanta have played, it's been honestly incredible.
No, good for them. Good for them, but it's Messi time. It's Messi time. It's Luis Suarez time. I thought Jordi Alba was off this second leg as well. He's going to turn it up. I'm not going to bet against the Barca boys. I'm just not. I'm not going to bet against these guys. And I'm not going to bet against Messi especially, but also the home field advantage I think does play a role, especially in the MLS. Atlanta United has been a monster in the making, though, man, because I remember back when Messi made his Leagues Cup debut, he faced off against Atlanta United. Killed them, bro, with ease. I think it was like the second or third game. And since then, I've just always imagined like Atlanta United being this kid who grew up, you know, getting beaten down. But finally, he's risen from the ashes, especially in this crazy playoff run that they're going on and the way they qualified and everything they did to get in. They've evolved. They've grown. And what I saw at home was truly impressive because I didn't think that was the Atlanta United side that I was going to see. I thought they were going to get walked over by this Miami team, but that performance was incredible. I just think it ends here, though. I really do. I think it ends here with the Messi moment that we finally get because he didn't get a goal in either the first or second match.
True.
There's just no way we go 3 games without a Messi performance. If we do, then that's going to be pretty crazy, honestly. Yeah. And this will be a monumental, historic moment for Atlanta United. I'm going into Miami, but at the end of the day, I'm here for a good game. I'm here for a good game, bro.
And where we did have an actual upset already happen, though, Columbus, they're out, man. They're out.
Done
at the hands of New York Red Bulls. Penalty shootout. And, dude, it actually got really dramatic in this one because New York had put in such a great performance over the course of the entire 90 minutes. Van Zier getting a really good goal. Emil Forsberg getting on the board with a beautiful penalty. But even outside of that penalty, he was pulling the strings constantly.
He was up for this game, too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Like, he looked really good. And you could see that Columbus's defense honestly didn't know how to defend him. Like, when Forsberg got on the ball, anything could have happened, and it did. New York put themselves in such a good position, but right at the death, in the 6 minute of stoppage time, I believe, Columbus equalized. They get the equalizer. Heartbreak for New York, but the thing is, they'd already won the first game in Columbus, which was massive. Game goes to penalties, and we see Carlos Coronel, the Red Bull goalkeeper, put in probably the performance of his career, honestly.
Coronel with a hat trick of saves, man, just stepping up to the moment. And I like the atmosphere I saw from the New York Red Bulls, man. I really did.
Yeah, me too.
I really like what I saw. In comparison to the New York City FC playoff match, I like this one a lot more. And I thought that was a big part of kind of the momentum shift that we saw in the penalty shootout. The whole team stepped up and they got the result. And it's just crazy, man, because Columbus at the end of the day really did put their best effort to get back into this match. But there's something about Wilfred Nancy, the images I saw of him during that penalty shootout, where he looks very stoic, very, very reserved. And I don't know. I wonder if he saw a sort of flaw in this Columbus team that New York ultimately exposed, because this does end up being a massive upset.
Yeah.
Massive, bro. I don't think many people had New York winning over Columbus, but I do think they deserve it fully, man. The way I saw them perform with these 90 minutes, they came back from being down 1-0 and they were up in this game. And if it wasn't for a miracle from Cristian Ramirez, they win this game outright. So New York, I think, is on an incredible path now, and I like the energy of the team. But for Columbus, at the end of the day, I mean, the question is this season considered a failure if they end up, lifting a Leagues Cup in the middle of it? Is that something that you end up being okay with for a team that is a contender for the MLS title?
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting question, because that just depends on how much you value CONCACAF football in general, right? Do you value Champions League? They made the final, right? They did get killed, but a lot of their players were sick, but they made the final. That's a success. They won Leagues Cup, and they did it in style against LAFC. That's a massive success, especially when you consider that you hope to beat Mexican sides, And then they're one of the better teams in the East. They were right underneath Inter Miami. Overall, the whole season was a massive success. And this is the whole thing of playoffs, man, of the MLS. You leave yourself open to just having a couple bad games, and then all of a sudden you're out of the playoffs. So this is, I think, comes down to do you care about playoffs in the MLS? Do you care about the whole year? This is the whole thing. I'm going to say not a failure. I'm going to say that overall Columbus had a great year. And this is just a fact of the MLS playoffs can get weird, bro.
They get crazy.
They can get weird.
They can get crazy. You lost to a good team in New York Red Bulls, and now I want to see how far they can go, man. I want to see how far they can go.
I think the Red Bulls now can just upset pretty much any team, because you have Forsberg in the side who looks like he can pretty much play against any type of defense. He has the pedigree. He's so good on the ball, off the pass. And then just the rest of New York looks so energized. The way Edelman played in midfield, Tolkien and left back, like they were just running around nonstop. And I think they'll be able to bring that energy against anybody. So, yeah, Red Bulls are going to be really interesting to watch from now on.
We have contenders like LA Galaxy getting a result against the Colorado Rapids, following up their 5-0 victory. They go away from home to the Colorado. Too fast.
Avalanche,
man. They go to the Colorado Rapids Stadium and they win 4-1. A game where Colorado tried. They tried their best, man. They really did. But that LA Galaxy class showed itself with Gabriel Peck getting a really goofy goal to start off of a Zach Steffen mistake, I guess, trying to punt the ball out from outside his box. Gabriel Peck blocks it, and it just falls into the path of a goal. Colorado then ties it with a Larraz banger.
Yeah.
But then 3 back-to-back goals from LA Galaxy, 2 of them coming from Ricky Puig, and they end up scoring 9 goals over 2 matches to continue their title contending campaign.
Yeah, this was ultimately so easy for LA. We knew what was going to happen after that first match. They killed Colorado. In my opinion, Colorado had 0 chance in this game, and they didn't. Like, LA Galaxy murdered them. Like, really good for LA. What I will say, though, is I think the Galaxy are the next best team.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
If you consider Messi and Miami as the best team in the league, then I think with this type of victory against Colorado, I think the Galaxy have established themselves as the next best team. I honestly, at this point, expect Galaxy to make the final. I think if they're playing like this, the way that other Western Conference teams are playing, which we'll talk about in a second, Galaxy are the next best team. If they don't make the final, I think it's actually a failure.
Yeah, there's a gap now. Yeah. After what I saw today, which let's just go straight to it. LAFC loses to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Loses to Vancouver pretty soundly, too. 3-0 in the Whitecaps Stadium. Vancouver, major result here as they pushing out to 3 games going back to LA. But what I saw today from LAFC was not a title contending performance, bro, at all. Like, if you have this side to you, you're a two-faced team, though. You're a two-faced team, bro. And I get scared for what this LAFC team can ultimately achieve in those big pressure moments, because today was a moment like that. They lose 3-0, Leagues Cup final. They couldn't show up. What happens when you make it to a El Tráfico type matchup in the semifinal? I only see them losing against LAFC if they make it that far. So LAFC today, I think, showed their true colors that I think will ultimately determine their whole season.
Yeah, LAFC definitely have a major flaw, and we saw in the Leagues Cup, in the sense that if you attack them, they don't have any answers. They can't relieve pressure. They will concede goals. And since they don't have a dynamic midfield, they can't get the ball back and try and hit you on a counter. They don't have it if you attack them. And that's what happened today. Vancouver just went at them. And what happened? They get 3 goals. Ryan Gold starting off with 2 really, really good goals. But even before that, Vancouver was just attacking. And LAFC had 0 response. The best that they could do was maybe Bouanga gets a chance or 2 by dribbling past a couple of players, but that's all LAFC resort to when they receive a lot of pressure is just individual quality. They don't have any sort of team plan to get out of pressure. The way that we saw Columbus do it in the final and the way we saw it today with Vancouver, LAFC cannot handle pressure. And that's why I say that if they play LA Galaxy, if Galaxy just pressure them with the offense that they have with Ricky Puig, Gabriel Peck, Painsil, LAFC will succumb to that pressure and they will lose. So I don't see LAFC being a title contender anymore. They have the experience, and one thing I think that's what can give them the opportunity to go far in the playoffs will be that experience. But when I look at teams like LA, when I look at the other teams, even like Red Bulls, for example, Atlanta United, Inter Miami, I just don't think LAFC could beat those type of teams.
I mean, I'm a little concerned for this next game, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not sold on the idea that they go through easily now.
Yeah.
If you lose 3-0, like they provided 0 opportunities offensively. Vancouver completely dominated. Who's to say that they can't do that again now that Vancouver knows how to essentially expose this team?
Yeah.
I think Vancouver does have a tough task at hand to repeat the performance that they did today, but I think it's going to be a tight third game, man.
Yeah. I honestly, I think whoever scores first will win it.
I like that.
So if Bouanga, the thing is Bouanga's class. Yeah. If he gets a goal in that first half for LAFC, I think Vancouver will cave. I don't really trust Vancouver overall, but they do have some really exciting players. For example, like in Ryan Gold. If Vancouver can get on the board first, I think they take advantage of that. They use their confidence. They use the plan that they used in game 2, and they'll get through. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting game overall.
Yeah, we got a fun set of game 3 matches. Let's go to the other matchup that has that happening with New York City FC getting a 3-1 victory over Cincinnati at home to push that matchup over to a game 3. And it was a great game with New York City FC just using that home field advantage, that momentum, getting 3 solid goals. And in the process, Cincinnati got themselves a banger with Orellana megging a player. And then from outside the box, long-range shot, hits the post, goes in. Pretty straightforward result here as New York City gets the result. And now we go to game 3.
Yeah, this one's interesting because New York City looked just the better team in game 2. In game 1, it looked a little bit tighter, but Cincinnati was able to have a better second half and create that separation to win. But this game 2, it almost has me thinking New York's going to win game 3 based off of this performance. But does the home advantage come in for Cincinnati? Cincinnati's not that much worse, or maybe they're the exact same as New York. So I think with that tight of margin between these two sides, I think Cincinnati will pull through, but only because of home advantage.
Yeah.
If New York can come in, though, and just shut out the noise, I actually think they could win. I really do. I thought their performance in this game, too, was pretty convincing. A really good goal from Alonso Martinez, a beautiful give and go with him and Elenic, and then Santi Rodriguez getting a Panenka to get that third goal. So I think New York looked really confident. So if they go into game 3 with 0 nerves, I actually think they win.
That's tough to do in MLS.
Tough.
That's tough. I think the home field factor plays a big role here, and Cincinnati has one of the best ones in the league.
They do.
And I do think that at all times they do have the better player as well, the best player on the pitch, and Luciano Acosta, who can change the match by his own volition. I'm going to bank on that, but hey, I'm with you. It's going to be a tight match, and Cincinnati should be very nervous now after New York City pushed this matchup to game 3. We had a crazy result with Minnesota United going up against Real Salt Lake, tying 1-1 in regulation, pushing the game to penalties, and then winning back-to-back penalty shootouts, something I haven't seen before, with St. Clair coming up big in these shootouts and guiding this team over the hump to push them into the next round. Minnesota United has the fans out in attendance, bro. I really like their stadium personally. I just want to highlight that. I love the lighting of it. I like that light blue color that they represent. And they used to be the home to the one and only Reynoso. So I'm also attached to that as well. But Minnesota United, the energy, the vibes, and the way that they played, and in big moments stepping up, get 2 back-to-back penalty shootout results, and now see themselves in the next round.
Yeah, honestly, based off these performances, even though it was tight against Salt Lake, Minnesota played some really good football. They're very dangerous off the counter, and as they've showed, they actually can score big goals. I actually thought they could have had a little bit more in this game against Salt Lake. Thing is with Minnesota is it depends on who they play in the next round, right? If they play a team like LA Galaxy, it's over.
I think it's LA.
Okay, well then in that case, the story ends for Minnesota after this, because it's a good result to beat Real Salt Lake, but I just don't think they have enough to play against a more complete team. But if they're playing against like a Seattle, for example, I'd actually back Minnesota. But yeah, if they're playing against LA, I just don't think they'll have a chance.
Damn, man. But hey, great moment here.
It's a big moment, yeah.
Winning
It's
a penalty
good.
shootout at home and St. Clair going crazy. I'd like to see Minnesota United put up a fight against LA Galaxy, but LA Galaxy's looking real good.
I just think they're looking too good.
I'm with you on that. I think they're looking really, really good. What was your takeaway from the Charlotte FC versus Orlando City match, which ended 0-0 in Game 2, goes to penalty shootout, and Charlotte gets their first ever playoff win in franchise history, with Galina getting some good saves here to propel Charlotte to a Game 3.
Yeah, honestly, not surprised at all. I had Charlotte-Orlando as the tightest matchup in the East. We saw it in Game 1. Orlando was able to create some separation, get a couple of goals, and win that match. It was very tight, though. There was also a red card. In the second game in Charlotte, I expected the exact same thing. Charlotte's just going to bunker in. They have one of the better defenses in the league, and it really shined today against Orlando. Orlando did get a goal in stoppage time, but it was a foot offside. So they almost didn't even have to have a Game 3. Goes to penalties. We see what happens with Kalina getting a couple saves. I think Orlando will take this, though. They're going back home. I think they'll be able to use that home field advantage, basically repeat Game 1, win maybe 1 or 2-0.
Damn. Okay, I didn't... Yeah, I think in that first game, I didn't see as much from Charlotte as I saw in the second one. I think Orlando City will wake up. They got Facundo Torres cooking already, so let's see what he can do in that third leg and get the result there. Last result that we have, last match to cover, is Houston Dynamo versus Seattle Sounders, with Seattle Sounders winning this game after Houston Dynamo gets back-to-back matches with red cards. This time,
God, dude.
with Hector Herrera spitting at the referee and getting a deserving red card.
Yeah, man. When I saw that, I was just like, Jesus, bro. The coach Ben Olsen has been getting fucked these last 2 games, because he has a whole game plan, and in both times the games are as tight as can be. And honestly, both times Houston having the better gameplay, and then his team loses their heads.
Yeah, bro.
2 times in a row. I can't believe it. You could just see the frustration, the anger, the despair in Ben Olsen, just begging the ref, being like, please don't give him a red. I'm trying. I'm doing my job. But it sucks. His players let him down fully. Carrasquillo with a lash out in the first game, and then Herrera with spitting in this game. Are you kidding me?
That's what pissed me off, though, bro. Is there anything more individualistic than spitting at a referee? I'd rather it be a player, because maybe then you have a certain personal beef going on. But everyone's mad at the ref. Everyone disagrees. Why all of a sudden are you the one that gets pissed off and wants to spit at him, bro? Yeah. Contain your emotions. Control them, man. Do it at a fan. I'd rather it be a fan. I'd rather be a fucking
the ball
fan,
boy.
Bro. The ball boy. Spit at anyone else but the ref, man. Yeah. What did you think was going to come from that?
Oh, I know.
But a red card.
Houston end up getting a crazy equalizer. A crazy equalizer. Our boy Griffin Dorsey, probably one of the most active fullbacks in the league, is able to force a ball. It's an own goal, and they get a crazy equalizer when it didn't look like it was going to happen. They force penalties, and unfortunately, the same thing that happened in Game 1 happens here. Seattle win on penalties, but you look at both results, both performances. Seattle go up a man with 30 minutes in both games, can't score, right? It takes so much for them to score. And then Houston also, even when it was 11v11, can't score against Seattle. This was as tight as it gets. Both games going to penalties. I'm not impressed by Seattle. Wasn't too impressed by Houston. I think the story ends for either of these sides in the next round.
No, I'm with you on that.
Seattle's done.
I'm with you on that, man. That's one of the worst teams that's in the playoffs now.
They're just so conservative, man. Like they it's just defense first and maybe attack. They have no priority when they go forward, and also their players just don't really have it. Rui Diaz is very old. Pedro de la Vega, the Argentine forward, it honestly isn't that good. I'm just going to be completely honest. They just don't have a lot going forward. So ultimately, Seattle end up being very boring to watch.
It was Roldan who scored the first goal for them today, and it was the Roldan brothers that scored the game-winning penalties last time. Mm-hmm. I think the formula of living and dying by the Roldans isn't something sustainable here. All right? I'm going to put it right there. Folks, let us know. What was your takeaway from these MLS playoff matches? We got a fun second round waiting for us, as well as Game 3 matches happening. Let us know your predictions, who you're going for, your takeaways. Let us know everything. We are the Give and Go Boys. Covering, I don't know why I'm like that. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.